Hey everyone, we're back. Definitely not the same day. See, I'm now wearing just a suit jacket.
I just love this shirt. So
He hasn't changed it since we've filmed the last one.
it's sticking. It's clinging to me now.
The smell is horrendous. So last week we talked about these things that are in front of us here.
We had a toy episode.
Yeah, we did the toy episode. So hey, watch that. That was actually really interesting. We got to talk about our toys as a kid, and we got to talk about Star Wars racism, which is always fun. So we are going to do one long character of the day today. So
Yeah, we decided to have an episode fully dedicated to this, what a lot of fans would say is a underused character in the movies. Not, I was going to say underappreciated, but I think
he's very appreciated.
He's appreciated, but I think most fans would say this is an underutilized character.
This, I just want you to know that he's going to have more time in this episode than he had screen time in his movie.
Right, yes.
So yeah, we're just making up for lost time for him.
You can guess who we're talking about. Who do you think? Think in your head who would be a character that is adored by fans and underused. And we've already done the Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunter thing, so don't.
We're talking about Jar Jar Binks today.
Of
Everyone's
course,
favorite.
everyone's
right?
favorite.
Yeah.
Misa, love him.
Okay, that went too far, way too quick. No, we're doing Darth Maul. We got standards here. So.
And it would have been awesome if Darth Maul had killed Jar Jar, but anyways.
Oh, that would. I want that spinoff.
Oh man, yes, a million times. Jar Jar lives, Darth Maul dies. Like,
I don't.
problem number 398 from A Phantom Menace.
Where are you looking?
Just off into the distance. I'm trying to picture Darth Maul, just
sitting there crying.
Yeah, envisioning him.
Technically, he lived maybe longer than Jar Jar Binks. When did Jar Jar Binks die?
Yeah, in my mind, 5 minutes into his appearance.
Yeah. I don't think Qui-Gon should have helped. Have you seen? There's a YouTube channel called How It Should Have Ended, and they did one for Phantom Menace. And Jar Jar Binks starts talking, and then Qui-Gon kills him, and Obi-Wan walks up and goes, "I just got a sense 1 million people just cried out in relief." And I was like, "That's funny. That's good."
Yes. You always regret in that opening scene now when you see Qui-Gon save Jar Jar. It's like, no, leave him. Save yourself.
Literally, you have to do nothing, and you will have helped so much. Just, oh. Anyway, so Darth Maul. Darth Maul is bad ASS.
Very.
I also found out
The best character, Qui-Gon was amazing.
Yes.
Obi-Wan's portrayal in Phantom Menace is amazing. And Darth Maul was another strong, probably the strongest aspect of Phantom Menace.
He should have been the new Darth Vader, I think, but they kind of screwed that up. Luckily, they realized what they did, and they brought him back for the cartoons and stuff.
And see, that's, okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is that how things get manipulated. And we talked in the last episode about, them extending.
Oh, backstories, yeah.
Yeah, just Admiral Akbar and giving him a big home planet and whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Was that necessary? And it's another, to me, it completely changes that scene in A Phantom Menace, which was the best scene. If he, he's still alive or whatever. And it's also there's this thing about the suspension of disbelief in movies to accept what's going on. And to me, it's just okay, it gets cut directly in half.
Yeah.
Directly in half and falls down this what looks to be just a bottomless pit, the same type of thing the Emperor fell down essentially. And he lives. And it's
there's a lot more with this story that you're going to be really? You're joking, right? It's like how we also talked in the Bounty Hunter episode that Boba Fett was raised by Bosk.
Right.
They just make pointless connections that.
Yes.
As much as I love Darth Maul, I do agree with you. They gave him cool robotic legs and kind of gave him a General Grievous type thing. When I was a kid, actually, and this is kind of an embarrassing thing that I used to think, I believed for the longest time that Darth Maul fell down that thing, that there was something at the bottom of it that basically burnt him worse than Anakin,
Right.
and he became General Grievous. I believe that for the longest time.
Interesting.
It's not the case. I found out General Grievous was a different alien.
Right.
That I think he volunteered to be turned into a robot. I'm not really quite sure about that one, but it's not Darth Maul. It's a completely different character.
Yeah, Grievous was like the full extension. My understanding of his character is like that full extension of like mechanizing a natural body. He was sort of like the full extreme of that kind of
I
thing.
also think Grievous was really cool. Like they should have I think they should have had
Best part of the
Grievous
Clone War, or the
Darth Maul. Have those two, and that just have them go through the 3 movies. Because I think one of the worst things they did was change the villain each time.
Yeah, he was the best part of Attack of the Clones. Like I thought again.
You mean Revenge of the
Is he
Sith?
not till Revenge of the Sith? I thought he was in Attack of the Clones a bit too. Okay.
Count
He was
Dooku
amazing. He was amazing in that. But yeah, it's another example, like you say, of them just like eliminating an amazing villain very quickly or whatever kind of.
So Darth Maul, he has the cool double-edged lightsaber. He's also like a hybrid. He's not one species. He's Dathomirian.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yep.
And Zabrak.
Yep.
Probably messing those up. And
Close enough.
Yeah, it's a ballpark. And then he's from Dathomir.
His mom was a big deal to him. It's Mother.
He was.
Talzin?
I have it written in here. So his mother is Mother Talzin.
Yep, I think that's
She was the leader of the Night Sisters. Anyway, but so if you don't know who the Night Sisters are, in the Clone Wars, which I talked about quite a bit in this series, there was a couple episodes. Do you know who Massage Ventress is?
Nope.
Well, it's a big character that they brought in for the Clone Wars. She was everywhere for a bit. Okay. Basically, she's technically the same species as Darth Maul. She doesn't have horns, but she was part of the Night Sisters, which are basically a giant cult with magic. And they're a big deal on his home planet. And when I read that, I went, really? You couldn't have just had 2 big people on the same planet? You had to make them related? Like, that seems very stupid to me.
Well, and
they don't even look similar.
Like Darth Sidious was trying to work with Mother Talzin at first, I think, right? Or like the Dark Sisters. Yeah. Maybe recruit them for the dark side, but then and my understanding is that he saw such like potential or talent in Darth Maul that he said, you know what, forget you, Mother Talzin. It sounds and he like kidnapped him essentially, right? He sort of it sounds like he said like I'll take care of him and I'll raise him this way, but then Mother Talzin felt like she got screwed in the deal or misled.
Well, her son died. I don't think anyone would be too happy with that deal.
That was years later though. Like he went through years.
I guess.
And it was another thing too, where he went through like years and years of training to get where he was. Again, it contrasts with Luke's sort of like you got trained for like a week or a couple of days in Empire. Anyways, but
then he got taken out like it was nothing. So
well,
of course,
it was a pretty good scene, but it was like, he got taken out in the end of it. Like, one of the most impressive things about that scene when you think about it, like when people, like Jedis have a reputation throughout the galaxy of just being like,
complete.
They're going to take you out.
Amazingness.
Yeah, if you don't want to get in a fight with a Jedi. Darth Maul walks into a room.
Takes 2 of them on.
With 2 Jedis and is just like,
come at me.
Yeah, totally come at me. Not like, oh, what about like, I got to size up the situation. He's just like, look at my awesome lightsaber that I'm about to kill you with. Like he just. And
he took out a master. Rocks. I guess now thinking about how he took on 2, it's just like he didn't really last very long. He had the coolest fight in. I would honestly say, as much as I hate Phantom Menace, one of the coolest fights in Star Wars history.
Oh, for sure.
But
for sure.
Then he was taken out and. Do you think Darth Maul was just like freaking out in his head the whole time? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. This is crazy.
No, I think he was like, I hate, like he seemed to be the embodiment, because you could see his face, right? With Vader, it's the mask, so you're sort of like reading it through the character, but you could see his face the whole time, and he seemed to be like he was that embodiment of like hate towards his enemies, it felt like, and just was like, literally channeling that hate to power him in the battle kind of thing, because he just looked so, and he looked like
awesome.
And after he killed Qui-Gon and there's those like lasers, that was like that was another, I didn't like a lot of the like imagery in Phantom Menace, but I liked those things that like cut off the battle and stuff, and how they were waiting. And after, when he killed Qui-Gon, I love the way he's like walking back and forth. I also love when it's about to open up and Obi-Wan starts like bouncing and stuff for that last battle they're about to have. But that is like a very cool few moments when he's like, okay, cool. I killed your master. Now I'm just gonna like, stare. Yeah, I'll just snarl at you and stare you down like a caged tiger until you come in and I do the same to you, kind of thing.
And like, so as much as people don't like the prequels, you gotta admit, George Lucas, for as much beef as much as he gets, like people making fun of him, he can make an amazing villain. He made Darth Vader, he made Darth Maul, he made General Grievous. Dooku I didn't really like.
Same, totally.
But he wasn't the worst villain in the world.
No,
like, he's better than any Marvel villain, really. So, like, he's done something. Like, he was really good at that.
Yeah, like, I think part of my not liking Dooku is honestly that he was like a pivotal figure in Anakin's development or whatever kind of thing, and I found that whole storyline cheesy a bit or whatever. But Dooku never quite did it for me the way Darth Maul.
It was just like Darth Maul, Grievous, Vader, very menacing, very big. Grievous and Vader or more machine than man. So you get like, and then with Darth Maul looking like the devil, with those you get a sense of this isn't just something you can be like, okay, I'm gonna be a Sith. This is like takes forever and it will ruin everything about you. Like it's like a big thing. And then you see Dooku, and he's wearing brown. He's not even wearing black.
Yes.
He seems just like an old guy. He doesn't like. He just walk around like nothing. Like I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's not the same like depth of character kind of, and you're absolutely right about Darth Maul having some of that iconography of the devil and just what we think of like traditionally evil, like the horns and the red in the face and the eyes, like the yellowish there and stuff, and it just it was just such a great look and like a fresh look for a villain too. Like there's not really anyone else in Star Wars at that point that looked similar. Like so just the new, and the way I did like too in the movie how they just sort of slowly revealed him. Like they let you know that he was there, but you just saw part of his face. And then when he like sent those like sort of satellite things out to find them on the planet and stuff, that was cool. I didn't like that short battle that he had with Qui-Gon.
Oh, on Tatooine?
Yeah, where it just sort of jumped, like Qui-Gon's like fighting him, and then he jumped onto the spaceship and was like, whoa, God, that guy was crazy. I don't want to fight that guy. Kind of, I was like, what? Like I thought that battle could have been done in a more, just in a different kind of way. But the last battle they had
was amazing,
except for the end. There should have been some out for him. Like even getting badly injured, obviously, would be cool. Like, in Star Wars, they love lopping off appendages. Like, it would have been cool for him to...
Even doing like a Kylo Ren, where he gets like the big scar.
Yes.
Or something like that. Like, could you imagine Darth Maul coming in the next time with like a big scar? Or
angrier. Or
like even...
that would be...
even more angry now.
You'd have to take anxiety medication.
Yeah, he gets like, he gets scars that make him like constantly look angry like this.
Yes.
That like, or like
chip a horn kind of thing or something like that. Cool. Like
could you imagine him with like, even because it seemed to be Star Wars' favorite appendage to lop off, a whole robotic arm?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Look cool. Could you imagine even taking it from my childhood self if you saw him like General Grievous, like 4 double
When I was even thinking, like on the one side, like he could have a normal arm, and then on the one side have like a double arm coming off, because he liked the double blade lightsaber too. Like they could
have played it up crazy, but they kind of like, it's good.
He was just such a great, like it made that final scene, not final scene, but it made the end of that battle scene cathartic. After Qui-Gon died, then Obi-Wan, you literally see him come into his own. There's a lot, like, it's an interesting scene because there's a lot from the hero's journey. At the bottom of the hero's journey, it's that idea of the abyss, death, rebirth, and revelation, right? And you get all of that stuff. There's the pit that Obi-Wan almost falls into, that Darth Maul falls into, that's the abyss. There's obviously death with Qui-Gon. You could argue that rebirth comes with Obi-Wan, where he seems like he's defeated and then channels the Force for that final last move or whatever. And the revelation is sort of the idea that he could defeat, for like Darth Maul being a Sith could be the revelation, Qui-Gon being defeated could be the revelation, and Obi-Wan winning and sort of coming into his own as a Jedi could be the revelation, right? So it's a powerful, and George Lucas definitely relied heavily on that, the motifs and the ideas from that hero's journey. So, you know, it's interesting when you think of all the aspects of that one part of it that are a part of that scene that make it, you know, powerful to watch the first time, but then it is like after when you think about it, you're like, Darth Maul isn't going to be in the movies anymore. We don't get to see him.
And then after that, so obviously Darth Vader is better than Darth Maul.
Yes.
Hands down.
And just for like part of it is just for the involvement in the movies, right?
Yeah.
Like just his overall role. Like if Darth Maul had a arc over
the whole thing,
and just being a part of those newer movies, right? Then like to me, it's always like the older movies have a bit of an edge on them.
There is one question I want to ask you about this. So Darth Maul, when people saw Darth Maul, it was Darth Maul. Obviously, it was a new type of lightsaber. He had a double-ended lightsaber.
Yep.
In the expanded universe, there's a bunch of different lightsabers I'm not really going to get into much about. But Rey now gets to go get her own lightsaber. Most likely they're just going to give her a normal one. But an interesting thing, there is one light...
Down goes Luke.
Luke's drunk. He needs
he is. Maybe
needs
we'll
to go
just...
home.
Here. You're drunk. You should fly. Just kidding. Don't do that.
Take his keys away.
Yeah. No X-Wing flying after you've been in the
Does he have brown
cantina for too long.
Anyway, so there's one lightsaber. I don't have a pen on me, but it's basically a staff with a lightsaber on the end of it.
Cool. So like a super long lightsaber.
Yeah,
kind of
like it's like a javelin type thing.
Right.
Now they're gonna give Rey a normal lightsaber, sadly. But I think, what are your opinions on? Do you think that they should give her her own like new thing? Like I think as just for her character, since she's always used the it's like a bow staff. I think the bow staff with the lightsaber on the end of it would be cool to show. Like, see, it's her own thing.
I agree because
double-ended.
that weapon is already sort of established as being something she is comfortable with and likes to use. And I do like, you know, growing up with the originals, the regular lightsaber is my favorite or whatever. Yeah. But like Darth Maul, that was amazing. I didn't think there was anything cheesy about him having it come out of both sides. I don't know about like Kylo Ren's. I forget what those things are called on the side that come out, but it's okay, I guess. I thought it was like a bit of a reach for something new, but I could totally see that with Rey. Like I could see them just sort of adapting that because it's already, and to me it makes sense because it's like, here's a weapon that you already are good at and comfortable using, so just adapt that.
Or a double-ended lightsaber, that would also be cool.
Double-ended would be cool
seen,
as well.
The blue version of it.
That's true, yeah. It's never been associated with the Jedi, so that would be cool if she was the first to wield that. And there's more potential too for battle. Like there was a lot of like cool stuff using that, fighting both the Jedis and stuff. So yeah, there's definitely potential there for battles.
And they probably won't do it for, obviously because they're really badly copying the originals, because they don't really want to go near the prequels because the bad stigma around it. But if we're going to talk about lightsabers, when you watched, because I know a lot of people are annoyed about this, I'm not really, but when you watched Force Awakens, the final scene, the lightsaber battle between Rey and Kylo Ren, a lot of people were angry because Kylo Ren has trained and for a while, and he's been training since he's a kid. So if we use the reasoning why the prequels and the original trilogy's lightsaber battles were so different, it was because of training. So Kylo Ren should be like the original, like, you know, like acrobatic, very skilled with it. And Rey's never used one before, so she should be very sloppy, but it seemed very sloppier than the original. And I get what they were going for. It just, using that, it seems very sloppy. You could also use the thing saying, he's never really had to use a lightsaber battle before, but they now also have staffs that can go against lightsabers. Like it's just kind of a weird slope.
It's definitely a big question how someone who wasn't trained at all can apparently take on and win somebody who's been trained for a long time. A couple possible explanations is Rey is like so
Force
talented
sensitive.
and gifted with the Force that made up the difference. The other thing could be, we don't know Kylo Ren's direct experience in actual battle, right? And it could be just he seemed like this type of character the whole time, like where overconfident kind of, right?
Yeah.
Or like letting the emotions sort of take over as opposed to really like focusing in a way that he need to. There was also the fact that he was injured. You could argue about how badly, but he'd been shot, right?
Yeah.
So that is going to affect you. And he's doing I don't want to affect the mic or whatever, but that was a weird, when he was like, ooh, and I'm like, okay, and he just kept doing it, like, and I'm like, okay, I understand, like you're trying to relieve the pain from that or whatever, but it seemed awkward or strange as far as the movements there.
See, I liked that. Like, as a history buff, there's a lot of old warriors that intimidation used to be a bigger part of it.
Right.
And I do like the idea that Kylo, he's a Knight of Ren, which, if you look at them, they're definitely doing some intimidation.
Yes.
And I do like the idea that he's going in, and it also does kind of also explain his swinging technique of kind of like what Mace Windu did, which was more power for it. And then he gets hit, and he's trying to show that doesn't affect him, so he's hitting it going like, yeah, see, I'm still good.
Right,
and then goes into it more. Like I do see how it's him going like, it's no big deal. Like I'm that tough that I can get shot, and it's nothing.
I wonder part of it too, like my prediction, and this, like I've read almost nothing about The Last Jedi. Like I've seen the first trailer, but that's about it. I don't get into a whole lot of that, but I think him and Rey are gonna like come together and achieve like the balance in the Force. And this might be overanalyzing it, but like at the end, he doesn't say, when they're fighting and they've got the lightsabers against each other, he doesn't say, join me and I will bring you to the dark side. He says, join me and I'll teach you the ways of the Force.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's almost like maybe he wasn't being as aggressive because he sensed some potential connection, because he takes out Finn, right? Like Finn is done and like,
maybe he has a crush
eviscerated in the back. Yeah, like they had that scene where he was like, he was trying to get into her head and she got into his head, and that freaked him out, right? But sometimes, and dudes can be like this, like at first they get freaked out by a girl, but then they're like, man, that girl was like, wow, you know what I mean? So maybe that was part of it, where he's like, because I definitely think that line is important, and it might just be me reading too much into something, but he doesn't say, join me and join the dark side. He says, join me and I'll teach you the Force. So
I also now really do like the idea of Kylo Ren just being completely obsessed with Rey. So then afterwards he's like, did she say anything about me?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not into her. What flowers do you think she'd like? Like just really just over the top. I'm like, why didn't you kill her? I don't know. Why didn't you? Like just like no, like just so annoying how into her he is.
I picture him also having like tantrums when things don't go. If she like she didn't say anything, and then he like cuts up the computer panel screen, just like, God, what the hell? And
will you go to the Emperor
upset.
Ball with me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrecks everything. Oh, that would, as much as I'd hate for that to be a Star Wars movie, I would love to watch that. Just if you're gonna make Star Wars burn, I want to see it like that.
And I don't like, I feel like the romantic connection in the early movies was one thing that just went completely off the rails and like ruined Attack of the Clones completely for me. So I really, honestly, I hope it's not like a love story type thing. And if they do, like I would way prefer it to be somewhat, not the same obviously, but like Leia and Han, where they're essentially sort of like, just there's that tension between them that leads to that, as opposed to like, oh, we're all lovey-dovey kind of thing or whatever. Because also like it doesn't make sense for them to be like romantically in love. But to me, the fact that they're both in tune to the Force could possibly naturally draw people together.
Like in Episode 9, or maybe even
like he might save her. right? He'd make a crucial choice that would be like, no, I'm choosing Rey over, the dark side or the Knights of Ren or any other Snoke maybe.
It could be, and I'm using a completely different franchise for this, but when I was a kid, I used to watch this anime. It was called anime. I used to watch this. My words are flubbing up so much. I used to watch this anime called Avatar. Mm-hmm. They did a movie called Last Airbender. It was crap. But anyway.
Okay, I've heard of that.
The main villain ends up going with the good guys to defeat his father. Like near the end of it, mm-hmm. he gets kicked out, and then he's like, okay, now I have more important issues to do. It'd be cool if like in episode 8, Snoke tries to get him to do something, or even like when he killed his father, like that really sticks with him. And so then, he has Rey or Finn are like basically done for, and then he eventually goes, no, I'm going against Snoke. And then then episode 9 is not him in love with Rey. It's him going for his goal, and like with the Han Solo Leia thing, then kind of go into each other. Like I think that would be kind of cool. It would use because also with his character, I can't see them killing him off at the very end. I want to know how they do it. Although they could, because he killed Han. They could be trying to see if that would make it more favorable for him to die.
Yes, and it will, it's weird to me too, like talking about this stuff and how it's like literally, like there will be like 4 guys being like, should we kill him? Like, in a writing room, like, do you want to kill him? Like, let's see how this story plays out. And it's like, it's still being decided or whatever, but.
It's like when 2 people just ask, like, what do you want for dinner? We could have Chinese food. Do you want Chinese food? It's like that, but to kill off a character.
Yes, yeah, like deciding, what's going to happen in the Star Wars universe. It's crazy. But I think, like, I remember seeing a headline online that said Last Jedi is not a Empire Strikes Back reboot the way The Force Awakens sort of was for A New Hope, right? And I really want it to be different, but I see it being dark, and I see it ending where the good guys are in a bad place. Yeah. And then the last movie being about them coming out of that in a similar way that Return of the Jedi was. Like, I don't know, I don't necessarily, because Finn's already been weakened, so I don't necessarily think he'll be in a bad place, but I think Rey will end up in a bad place. I think, like, I don't know.
The Emperor's Ball.
If Luke, I don't know if Luke will make it through the next movie unscathed, and he might just, like, take off again or whatever. It might just be too much for him, something like that. But
sadly, Carrie Fisher, she's going to have to, her character's going to have to pass on.
I did hear some things about possibly bringing Leia in to the last one, and that like they do it the way they did with like Tarkin in Rogue One. So I've heard them saying they might still be using her there, but it's definitely a big deal seeing Leia in The Last Jedi. Like, that'll be huge.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Our topic of the day, Darth Maul.
I think we covered a lot, mostly philosophical.
Yeah, but, we got from episode 1 to episode 7.
That's
well, thank you for watching another episode of your favorite show on the internet, Chat Compactor. We will be back. I don't know how many weeks. We're in the middle of moving, so both shows, Chat Compactor and Movie Therapy, will be on hold for a bit as we move to the new location. We've done this before, but this one's going to take a little bit longer. So we will see you at some point at the end of after September.
Yep, we'll come back strong with new ideas and more of the Force.
More of the Star Wars. And by then, episode 8 will be getting closer.
It'll be all the hype. We'll be ramping up. I'll be actively avoiding. I now, like, when I'm scrolling through stuff on really Facebook and I see Star Wars stuff, I've like gotta like I always, and sometimes even the headlines reveal more than I want. I'm like, oh no. But yeah,
you're gonna have to come to the show with headphones on.
See, that's an interesting thing. We could do a show on like the philosophies between like how you go into a movie, whether you want to like get all the information and hear a whole bunch about it, or whether you don't want to hear any. And some of the with the internet, the way that is these days, because you can find out so much these days if you want to, right? Like you can read a whole plot synopsis before you go to the movie if you want. But
me and Derek, when we did movie therapy, we did a little chat about that. So
Cool.
you and me should do one, and then we could do like a compilation of the two.
Cool.
We could see what all three of us think.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys at the end of September.
Take it easy. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Always.